We're all hearing about artificial intelligence everywhere, right? But there's this one giant question we have to answer first. Can we actually trust it? Today, we're cracking open the so-called black box to see how we can build AI that's understandable, accountable, and ultimately safe. So picture this. An algorithm makes a massive decision about your life. Maybe it's a loan, a new job, or even a medical diagnosis. But when you ask why it made that choice, you get nothing, just silence. This isn't some science fiction movie plot. It's a very real problem that we have to solve, and it's happening right now.
And yeah, that problem, it has a name. It's called the black box problem. And honestly, it's at the very heart of why so many of us are a little bit nervous about AI.
So what exactly is a black box AI? Okay, think of a machine that gives you amazingly accurate answers, but how it gets them is a total mystery. You feed data in, a decision pops out, but the process in the middle, it's hidden, even from the brilliant people who built it. And that mystery, that's a huge roadblock. This really lays out the two roads we can take. Over on the left, you've got the black box. It's opaque, you can't audit it, and that creates a massive trust issue. It's just risky. The goal, of course, is to get over to the right, to what we call glass box AI. Systems that are transparent, where people are accountable, and that are safe because we can actually see how they think.
And look, this isn't just some academic thought experiment. The consequences of these black boxes are already hitting us in the real world. We're talking about predictive policing tools that end up targeting minority communities, facial recognition tech that has way higher error rates for people of color, even automated hiring tools that are biased against women. These aren't just little bugs, they are fundamental failures of transparency. And you know what? Businesses are really starting to pay attention. A recent survey found that a massive 68% of organizations see this exact problem, this lack of explainability, as a major roadblock to actually using AI. It makes sense, right? Without trust, you can't really move forward.
So how do we fix it? How do we start building that trust? Well, we start by cracking open that box. And the solution is built on two really powerful ideas: ethical AI and explainable AI.
All right, let's start with ethical AI. Think of this as the why. It's the philosophy, the moral compass for building this stuff. It's a commitment to making sure these systems line up with our values and actually help society instead of causing harm.
And at the core of this philosophy is fairness. This is all about actively hunting down and getting rid of biases in the data and the algorithms to make sure the system treats everyone equitably.
Then, you've got accountability. This one's simple but crucial. When an AI makes a call, someone has to be responsible for it. This principle draws a clear line of who's on the hook, from the coder all the way to the company using the AI.
And that brings us to the third pillar, which ties everything together: transparency. This is the big one. It's the demand that we can actually see inside the box. Without transparency, you can't really have fairness or accountability. It's the foundation for everything.
And here's the most important connection to make. If ethical AI is the destination, then explainable AI, or XAI for short, is the vehicle that gets us there. XAI is the actual toolkit, the set of methods and tech that lets us turn those big ideas of fairness and transparency into something real.
Okay, so what's actually in this XAI toolkit? This is where things get really cool. Let's look at a couple of the powerhouse methods that data scientists are using to pry open that black box.
First up, we have a technique called LIME. So let's go back to that loan application that got denied. LIME works by focusing just on that one specific decision. It basically creates a simpler, easier to understand mini model that acts just like the big complex AI right around that single decision. It's like putting a magnifying glass on one moment to see exactly what tipped the scales.
Another really powerful tool is called SHAP. This one is super clever. It's based on game theory. Think of an AI's decision like the outcome of a team sport. SHAP's job is to figure out the exact contribution of every single player, every piece of data, to that final score. It doesn't just say, oh, your income was important. It gives it a precise value, showing exactly how much it pushed the final decision in one direction or the other.
And all of this really gets to the ultimate goal here. XAI isn't about making AI that can just run the world on its own. It's about building tools that help human experts make better decisions. You know, an AI might flag a potential issue in a medical scan, but with explainability, the doctor can see why the AI flagged it, check its work, and then make the final life or death call.
And this whole push for explainability, it's not just happening in research labs anymore. It is moving super fast from theory into the real world, thanks to new regulations and huge pressure from industries where the stakes are incredibly high.
Just look at the momentum here. It really kicked into high gear back in 2016 when DARPA launched its XAI program. From there, we got guidelines from NIST, then standards from ISO, and now we have the EU's massive AI Act, which is about to make explainability a legal requirement for a whole bunch of AI systems. The train has definitely left the station.
And it's not one size fits all. Different industries are creating their own rules. In healthcare, for instance, the FDA is all about transparency for patient safety. In the world of finance, regulators need to be able to audit credit models to stop discrimination. And for self-driving cars, well, knowing exactly why a car decided to swerve is, a matter of life and death. It's absolutely essential.
But we're not at the finish line yet. Opening the black box is a seriously complex job, and there's still some pretty big challenges we have to solve on the way to truly responsible AI.
And this right here is probably the biggest headache for developers. It's this constant trade-off. See, often the most powerful, most accurate AI models, we're talking deep learning, neural networks, are also the hardest to understand. They're the blackest boxes. On the other hand, the simple models that are easy to interpret might not be powerful enough for the job. Striking that perfect balance, that's the million-dollar question in this field right now. And it doesn't stop there. There are other hurdles, like how do we deal with the threat of super sophisticated deepfakes and misinformation? How do we create standards that actually work across all these different industries? And this is a big one. How do we make the explanations make sense to a regular person, not just a PhD in computer science, all while trying to protect people's privacy? It's a lot to juggle. But when you step back and look at the whole picture, the real goal becomes clear. The future of AI isn't just a race to see who can build the smartest machine. It's about building a real partnership between humans and machines. And just like any good partnership, it has to be built on a solid foundation of communication, understanding, and most of all, trust.
Because in the end, AI is a tool. It's going to learn from the data we feed it, and it will follow the rules we give it. It's going to become a mirror, reflecting our own values and our own flaws right back at us. So the final question isn't really about the AI. It's about us. What are we going to teach it to show the world?